Is Ivan Herrera secretly really good? Are the Cardinals gonna make the playoffs this year? Or is the bullpen just not ready for all that? Hello, welcome. I am Elliot, your host for the Deep Flyout podcast. Today, we're gonna go ahead and talk about the St. Louis Cardinals, which is what this podcast is all about. I hope that's why you tuned in. I mean, that's why we're all here, ain't it? The Cardinals played one, two, three, four, five, six, seven games that we're gonna be covering here. Um, they started out great. Starting off with that, they started out pretty good. Those last little bit, they kind of slumped. Basically, what we're going to be doing here is just kind of talking about how they went throughout the week. I've got a doc on here with good and bad points from each. I kind of rushed it a little bit. Only been working on it the past couple days instead of over the whole time. And I was gonna make the episode one in that first weekend that after they started, but there would have only been about 2 games for there to be covered. Not a lot for me to talk about here for that. But anyways, we'll be getting right into it. First matchup of the year: Twins versus Cardinals in St. Louis. We're our that's opening day. Our pitcher, Sonny Gray. Looks like it's going to be great. He did take till the second inning to allow the Twins to get on base, so he had a shutout first inning, which is beautiful. Um, it looks like, yeah, so however, he got the bases loaded in the second inning, but a strikeout and then a pop up to first is able to get them out of that base loaded. Wilson Contreras, the first baseman, still don't know how I feel on him, but he did do that. Lars Nootbaar gets the first Cardinals home run and his first home run of the season in the second inning as well. Sonny Gray goes 3 strikeouts in the fourth inning. The former St. Louis Cardinal, back in 2022, Harrison Bader, was able to get a 2-run home run in the fifth inning. So that's it's definitely unfortunate seeing from a former Cardinal. Don't like to watch those guys go. I wasn't really into baseball back then, as you guys know. That's the whole point of this podcast. If you watched the previous episode, Gray doesn't make it past the fifth inning. Sorry, words. He'll be relieved after that. Victor Scott II, a guy that I didn't talk about in that last episode, I don't believe. Didn't really know much about him, but after watching over this last week or so, boy, do I like him. All right, he is magnificent. But in here, he made an insane running catch to stop a run from being scored. Beautiful. And then also, I did not tag the inning this happened, but Nolan Arenado hit his first home run of the season in this game as well. Overall, that ended in a 5-3 win for the St. Louis Cardinals. And I'm kind of going to do this thing where personally I give out a Cardinal of the game for each game. These can be like actual serious reasons just because I felt like it, or just really, really stupid. And sometimes it's not even just one player. You'll see that later. Again, sometimes it's really stupid reasons. So we win the first one against the Twins, and moving on, we'll see the next game. Looks like 2 days later against the Twins, where, well, obviously against the Twins, it was a 3-game series, so the next two will also be against the Twins. We had Fetty as our pitcher here. Um, I didn't mark any names for this, but in the second inning, I also didn't mark a team for this. In the second inning, a runner was called safe stealing second, but definitely should have been out. So I guess there was something controversial in that thing there. Wynn in the second inning was able to catch a ball backwards, so they normally stand. Yeah, he was the opposite of that, and I thought that was cool, so I marked that down. Um, Nootbaar in the same inning was made a pretty slick sliding catch. I do remember watching that one, and just while watching it, it was pretty cool. This one I marked for the Twins. Yeah, Byron Buxton had a massive jump to get Brendan Donovan to stop his home run in the fifth inning. Uh, Arenado nails one into the pitcher. I mean, this thing comes back rockets and just bam. That was great to watch. But after a few couple lucky bounces there, it ends up in a double. So we love seeing those plays, definitely. Did I even? I talked. Hold on. This is my apologies. I talked about the Cardinal of the game. I don't think I said it. If I did, I'm gonna apologize. I might say it again here. I don't think I did. I think but that last game, I gave it to Newt Bar. I think that one was for actual reasons. Yeah, he had the first home run of the Cardinals season. So, pretty slick. Sorry, back to this game. Where were we at? The Cardinals in the sixth inning get the bases loaded with no outs, but then there are two strikeouts. I believe Wynn was one of those, and then a two-run hit from Newt Bar. So we love seeing that as well. And then something really weird happened in this game. Wilson Contreras decides to eat his bat tape. I mean, seeing that originally, I was like, "What is this? Is this a thing that they do in baseball?" Because I'm new to this. I was like, "What is happening here? Why is he doing that?" It is not a thing that they do regularly in baseball. He apparently it came loose, and he didn't have time to swap it out or tear it off, or not tear it off, but like he didn't have a place to put it after he did tear it off, so he chewed on it. I mean, there wasn't much else to it. That's what you got. I also put that the Cardinals loaded the bases again with no outs in the eighth inning, but it looks like nothing came of that because I did not mark anything there. However, the Cardinals won that one 5-2, and my Cardinal of the game goes to Nolan Arenado on this one, purely for hitting the pitcher because I love seeing it. I love pitchers, but it's funny to see him get hit. Maybe it's because I'm a hockey guy. I don't know. All right, and then final game against the Twins. Not a whole lot on this one. Not a very interesting game besides it was decently high scoring. Victor Scott II hits a 3-run home run for his first of the season. Is it Pages? However you pronounce that guy. He also hits a 3-hit home run for his first of the season. And Gorman also hits his first home run of the season. I believe that was a solo shot. So again, not a lot for that one, but it is in a 9-2 win for the Cardinals. And my Cardinal of the game goes to Victor Scott II for being the first, and then Pages just copied him. He's a little copycat. All right, now we're going to throw in our first little segment here. I said on Instagram I was going to be doing some of these. This is the one that I knew for sure I was going to be doing. Might add different segments later on in the future. But our first segment is going to be the fantasy segment. No official name as of now. Got a couple brewing. But basically, we're just going to check out my fantasy team for the baseball, especially since I do not know a lot about baseball. So we're going to go over who's on the team. We're going to go over that first week and how they did, and then this most recent week and how they did, which, spoiler alert, was not as good as that first week. So, get on my phone here. And so we have Ohape as one of my catchers. Paul Goldschmidt as my first baseman. If you watched that other video, you know. Brendan Donovan, St. Louis. Nolan Arenado, St. Louis. Mookie Betts at shortstop. He was my first pick. Thought that one was pretty good. Castellanos, not sure how to pronounce that one, as an outfielder. Dylan Cruz is an outfielder. I think I said infielder earlier. I meant outfielder. Spencer Steer also playing outfield for me. We also have Francisco Lindor, Jake Berger, Freddie Freeman, who is injured, and Colton Wong, all on this team as well. And pitcher-wise, we have Francis Gray, St. Louis, Halsey, St. Louis, Keller, Miller, Schwellenbach, and Snell, who also looks like he is on injury reserve. I did not know about that one. Um, so matchup was um, can't go back to see the last one, but I did win week number 1. I do remember this. See if I can go back and see. I can. So I won week number 1, which I believe was just 2 or 3 days, because it started at the start and just went to the Monday or whatever. I won 129 to 111. This week it is Sunday, so it is the end of the matchup. Didn't look as good for me. 175 to 232. Not great. Hopefully we bounce back next week. So that's what we've got whenever it comes to talking about my fantasy team. That's fun. More updates on that later. Next, we're moving on to the series against the Los Angeles Angels. And they did sweep. I didn't mention that, but they did sweep the Twins in that first series there. So that's a hot start, 3-0. Moving on to the Angels, we've got Mikolas as our pitcher for Game 1 of this series. Also, didn't write a whole lot about this one. Lars Nootbaar gets a home run, but looked like it had to be reviewed at some point. Guess they couldn't tell if it went out or not. Brendan Donovan sends home his first home run of the season and his first career home run against a left-handed pitcher in the second inning. Arenado is able to throw across the entire diamond from third base to first base to record an out in the sixth inning. And that's all I had for that game. Just guess it wasn't that interesting, and we did end up losing 5-4 on this one, but I still gave Cardinal of the game to Miles Mikolas, the pitcher. That was rough. I think if I remember right, they used like 5 different pitchers in that game, so not great. First loss of the season. They'll bounce back, right? Well, now we're into April. This is April 1st game against the Angels. I'm not too sure how to pronounce this pitcher's name. Liberator? Something along the lines of that. But in this game, in the first inning, Lars Nootbaar breaks his bat, but is still able to get on base. So, I don't think you see a whole lot of broken bats, and I'm pretty sure they don't lead to a whole lot of hits. So I did mark that down. Pretty cool. Nolan Gorman almost hits a home run, but it ends up just being a double in the second inning. Also in the second inning, I think this was later on, I think there was a runner on first base and second base. I didn't mark them down or anything, but there was a double steal. So we had that. Jordan Walker nails his first home run in this game in the fourth inning. Luken Baker hits a 2 RBI hit in the 10th. Damn, that was a big skip I had there. Luken Baker hits 2 hit in the 10th, and Nootbaar made a bad fielding error, leading to multiple runs scoring in the 11th, which led to a 9-7 loss in the 11th, and I gave the Cardinal of the game to Gorman, apparently. Now I'm thinking about it. Hold on. Oh, yeah. I made a side note. I said it hard to give it to any of the Cardinals. Kind of a bad game, and we got lucky. It went to extras. So there's that. It was a tough pick. Alrighty, and then the last game against the Angels, with the Sonny Gray as our pitcher. Victor Scott II, unable to rob a home run with just a weird hit off the back wall. He jumped too early. He did something, and he did a little flailing around there, and it did not look pretty. Lars Nootbaar hit a foul ball that was caught. It was deep. It was almost at the stands. I remember writing this one down. I was like, he has to be too good to be hitting something that easily catchable. Maybe it just happens sometimes. Whatever. Just wanted to write it down, talk about it just a little bit, but that's what we had there. Um, we get bases loaded off of only walks. Yeah, the Angels pitchers walked three guys in a row, I think. Yeah, three guys in a row, or three three walks and a strikeout. He did something. He got our bases loaded, and all the base runners were because of walks. Win, however, unable to get a hit on the bases loaded situation, so it fizzled out into nothing. Ivan Herrera, what a game for this guy, knocks his first home run of the game home, end of the season, I believe, in the fourth inning. And then 2 innings later, in the sixth inning, launched his second home run of the game. So that's good to see from him. However, in the seventh inning, Ohapi hits a grand slam off of Gray, something you hate seeing. But coming back a little bit better, Mason Wynn finally gets his first hit of the year in the seventh inning there. He started off the year 0 for 20, so wasn't looking very good for him as well. But also wasn't looking good for Wilson Contreras, who got his first hit of the year with a double. I believe that's right. That might not have been his first. Yeah, it was. His first of the year with a double as well. But nothing comes of that in the seventh inning. But in the eighth inning, the Cardinals are able to get the bases loaded as well, and they draw a walk to have a run score. And then Burleson is hit by a pitch, which scores another run. And I don't think the bases got loaded on this, or the bases were unloaded at some point, but I don't know when. But that's besides the point. Ivan Herrera gets his third home run of the game, which is not a common experience from my understanding. I mean, he just pulled off a hat trick in an MLB game, which is insane. All of that led us to a 12-5 Cardinals win, and obviously I had to give the Cardinal of the game to Ivan Herrera. I almost gave it to Sonny Gray, but a 3 home run performance is pretty good. All right, so we lost 2-1-1 against the Angels. Now we start our series against the Boston Red Sox, which they have one game on here. They were supposed to play one game yesterday, and then they did play one game today, which will not be covered in this video, but will be in next week's. But we had Fetty pitch for this game, and if you want to call it pitching, I don't have a lot of room to talk. Couldn't go out there and do what he did, but in the first inning, he allowed 5 runs to start it off. I really did not write a lot down for this one. In the fourth inning, Ivan Herrera knocks home another home run, so monstrous. He is going insane as of recent, the last 2 games, and maybe even today's game. I didn't actually get to check it out. But Fetty was pulled in the fourth inning, and at the end of it, we ended 13-9. So we kind of had a few moments in that game where it would get kind of close, but Red Sox kind of had that all in control the whole time. And this Cardinal of the game, you'll kind of see what I meant whenever I was joking around. I gave the Cardinal of the game to the entire Cardinals bullpen. They used like 7 pitchers or something in this game. It was kind of sad. I will not lie. That's mainly what I had for today's. I didn't have a whole lot of extra stuff that I wanted to do besides that fantasy thing. I'm just trying to get this first one out. I apologize for it taking so long. I appreciate all you guys sticking around for whatever was taking a while. More of this to come. I appreciate you guys. See you next week, and let's go Cardinals.